Welcome back, everyone. Today I have my thoughts on the Legends of the Forest pre-release. As always, I'm going to put on screen the video chapters, and if you only care about one specific leader or one specific portion, please feel free to skip ahead and go to that section that interests you. And a big thank you to the channel members, and let's get right into the video. So, what is a pre-release? It's a special kind of limited format where you show up to a store, and when you buy a ticket to the pre-release, you're going to get a pre-release kit. The kit comes with tokens and everything you'll need to play the game. So if it's your first time playing Star Wars Unlimited, pre-release is like the best time to get into the game. You'll need to bring nothing except sleeves to sleeve up the cards for your deck that you're willing to play. A pre-release kit contains 6 sealed packs and 2 spotlight leaders. So for Legends of the Force, the spotlight leaders are Qui-Gon Jinn and Darth Maul. So no matter what, you at least have a villain and a heroism leader to play. And you also get to use any common Legends of the Force base in a pre-release, even if you didn't pull one. So if you need a green base, but you didn't pull any, you can ask the judge of the event, and they should have more than enough to give you one. That also goes with tokens if you need experience or shield tokens. However, when it comes to the rare bases, if you want to play a rare base, you have to pull it in one of your 6 packs. So if you want to use Virgin's Temple, but you didn't pull Virgin's Temple, well, no Virgin's Temple for you. Typically, you have the time of 1 round to build your deck. So if it's best of 3, you'll have close to an hour to rip all your packs, sort everything, put everything together. So you're gonna have enough time to build your deck. Don't worry about building, don't worry about the time limit. Typically, you're going to have way more than enough time. And I've even seen it where they've cut off the last 15 minutes because everybody was ready. It's also worth noting that between games, every card you pulled, you can use to change your deck. If you want to completely change leaders, bases, anything, you can. You're not held to anything in a pre-release. So the next question you may be asking is, how is pre-release different than Premiere? Well, that's a great question. Pre-release typically is significantly more unit-based than Premiere is, where a lot of the best Premiere players play decks thousands and thousands of times and essentially memorize play patterns into all the relevant decks. With Limited, you can't really do that, and success is more based on deck construction than anything else. However, once the deck is built, you do still need to play well in order to win. And the key to winning matches in Sealed is building a deck that can efficiently trade into your opponent's units, leaving your own units alive to deal further damage later on. Once you gain control of the board, you put your opponent on the back foot, and then you can start swinging into base to finish off your opponent. Since you're limited to just 6 packs, it's not very likely your opponent will have cohesive decks with the most efficient units and removal at each cost curve. And they're not always going to have the perfect answer to whatever you play. So navigating around early unit combat is ideal. In Star Wars Unlimited, leaders really matter in pre-release format. Having a good leader that's generically powerful, whether it's stats or an ability that allows them to be more efficient in trades, is going to be crucial for success. A few other non-technical things about pre-release I want to get out of the way before we really dig into the deck building theory and rankings is 2 major things. Thing 1, have fun. This is a casual event, and I know there's usually prizing and whatnot, but a pre-release is supposed to be very fun and engaging. And honestly, I truly believe pre-releases have been some of the most fun times I've had playing Star Wars Unlimited. This next thing is extremely important. For a lot of players, this is their first time playing and seeing the Legends of the Force cards. Mistakes, misplays, not understanding how cards will work, that's going to happen. And I've done it myself, and even some of the best players in the game also do it. So please remember to be patient and forgiving to your opponents. Maybe it's just me, but if someone misplays a card in a pre-release and it doesn't do what they think they thought it did, or they thought they had the Force and they didn't, just let them take the play back and move on. Just remember, have fun and enjoy the casual event and be casual yourself. So, enough of all that. How do you build a sealed deck? Where do you start? What should you be looking for? How do I sort my cards? We'll get into all that in this section, and if not this section, when I do the demonstration at the end. The first thing I would do after you sort your cards is find your largest concentration of cards. Pick one color combination, whether that's green villain, blue hero, pick one color combination. Don't even look at your leaders yet. Just find that color combination with the most cards and see where it's lacking. Does it need more turn 1 plays? Does it need more closers? Do I have some form of removal? How many turn 2 plays do I have? These are all questions I ask myself when I'm building a deck. And if that color combination has sufficient answers to a lot of these questions, well, that would be a good baseline to start with building. If it doesn't, if it's just a bunch of crap, move on to the next color combination with the highest concentration of cards. And in Legends of the Forest, there are 5 things I would have you really look out for when you're building a deck. And we're going to use a mnemonic to help remember these things. Bread. The B stands for bombs. These are the big endgame units that when you slam down, completely win you the games. Your opponent looks at it and they scoop because they just can't defeat it. These are the big things that swing the game at the end to really put the game in your favor. R is removal. Knowing the relevant removal in the game is key to a pre-release, because there's also not that much removal in this set. Knowing what you'll need to play around is ideal. Also, having 2 to 3 removal cards in your deck lets you take out a big annoying unit very efficiently is really nice when you're trying to squeeze out a win against your opponent. The E stands for evasion. Hidden is a new keyword this set, and it's going to be very powerful, especially in pre-release, because it allows you to play certain units out without giving your opponent the chance to trade into them with their already established board, effectively letting you catch up to them if you're behind. And the other part of evasion is shields, which, like hidden, help keep your units alive by preventing the first damage on them. This typically lets them trade into multiple units or survive the first hit if you're pushing damage into base. The A stands for ambush. Ambush has always been good in the game. Play a card with ambush, it lets you establish a unit on the board and at the same time defeat an opponent's unit, and that can really set you ahead. Look out for ambush cards or even Maz Kanata to help you get ahead on the board early. And lastly, the D stands for debut, which is a very sophisticated word, I know, but this is your first turn plays. Most times, if you don't play a card on turn 1, you're gonna have a bad time in a pre-release. So ensuring you have enough small units to reliably get something on turn 1 is key to a successful deck. These units also, later on, are really helpful if you play like a lightsaber out, and then you can sneak in a Gungi on that same like 5 resource, 4 resource turn to keep your board wide and going a little bit tall to put a big threat on the board. So lastly, leaders to build around in my pre-release rankings for all the leaders. We're going to start out at the bottom and work our way up. So the first tier is the not worth it leaders. These leaders, I think, need too much help and have too many drawbacks to really want to build around. Kanan, yes, he can come out as a big boy if you get enough creatures or enough Ezras, sure, but there's not that many creatures, really limiting your already limited pool, and a lot of them just really aren't great for the Kanan payoff. Ferris, typically, you're running like 24 to 25 units in a pre-release deck, leaving only 5 to 6 non-unit cards. And do you really want to run a 6-flip leader that doesn't really do anything on her leader side? Probably not. Rey, one of the biggest downsides I have with late flip leaders in a pre-release is that you need them to be game-changing or game-winning when they come out, and Rey just doesn't do that. Morgan Elsbeth suffers from the same thing that Kanan does. You're limited in your card pool, and she just won't work out well and will be way too clunky. And lastly, Anakin Skywalker and Darth Revan both suffer from the same thing. They will only likely have 18 to 20 maximum non-out-of-aspect cards in your sealed pool, which just isn't enough to want to run these leaders. Unless you get an insane, godly pool, like you get 3 Maliks, 3 Revan's lightsabers, 4 Dooku's, and then a bunch of something in one color, sure, go ahead and run Revan. Otherwise, I don't think I would. The next tier, and this is actually kind of funny, I didn't name this tier until after I made all my rankings, and it just so happened that Qui-Gon Jinn and Darth Maul ended up here. And since everyone has access to them, it kind of fits that these are your last resort leaders. Qui-Gon can have some merit, but he's a 6-flip leader, and that really needs a lot of like ambush or when played cards to really pop off. And I'm not sure you're going to reliably have that in most pre-release pools. Darth Maul is kind of on the weak side stat-wise, and his leader ability can actually hurt yourself just as much as your opponent. Plus, both of these are force token dependent leaders, which can be very clunky and low impact even when you hit the force on them. Flip on 6 resources is a hair too late to really make me want to play them. The next tier is could be good with the right deck. This is Kit Fisto, Avar Kriss, and Kylo Ren. For Kit Fisto, if you do get enough playable Jedis, Kit could actually be kinda good. It's also worth noting that there's very, very, very limited upgrade hate and Legend of the Force card pool. So Saboteur could really help you defeat shielded units, which are going to be significantly harder to remove and sticky, so the Saboteur removes them efficiently, which is really nice. Kit flips on 5 resources, which is good, and he's in one of the best sealed colors. Getting Ki-Adi-Mundis and Mace Windu's in his natural color that synergize with him can make him pretty dang good. Avar Kriss and Kylo Ren both suffer from the same thing in my opinion. They're just late flip leaders. I can imagine that you get both of them out on turn 6, the 7 resource turn in a pre-release. The only ramp card in Legends of the Force is Eth Koth, which helps Avar a little bit, but the lack of ramp really, really hurts these two leaders specifically. What makes them possibly playable, though, is if you get godly pulls where their flips can single-handedly win you the game. Avar, she's an 8/10 that can get upgraded with lightsabers and has Overwhelm, while Kylo can possibly flip with 2 lightsabers or a lightsaber and craving power, plus his Sentinel makes it so you completely lock out the ground arena, which is the dominant arena of this set. If you get to Kylo, and you have enough upgrades in your deck, he can single-handedly win you games. A Legends of the Force pre-release will be kind of slower than the jump to Lightspeed pre-release, so you may have a little bit more time to get to these two leaders, but you will need the right card pool to do so. The next tier is good leaders with some downsides. Grand Inquisitor, Supreme Leader Snoke, and Ahsoka. I like all 3 of these leaders, but they all do have downsides that need to be acknowledged. For Grand Inquisitor, he's just a very low stats for flipping on 5, but his ability is good. We saw a similar ability on Jyn Erso, which was good in the set 1 pre-release. And Grand Inquisitor comes out built in with a shield, so he's pretty resilient and gets favorable trades. Supreme Leader Snoke, he is a powerhouse in sealed, but has 2 major downsides. The first being he flips on 6, but his ability and on attack ability do make him a force to be reckoned with. The other issue is his leader side only works on villainy units. The other issue with Snoke is his leader side only works on villainy units, which you'll see in the sorting section, but your deck is usually mostly non-villain cards. You'll really need to have a good spread of villain units at all costs on the cost curve to make use of Snoke every turn. Hearing that, you'd think he'd be in the tier below, but even if you don't hit a good pull, Snoke may just be able to win you the game on his flip side, but I don't think he's a no-brainer to include. You have to make sure you do have enough villain units to choose him over the other leaders in the pool. Ahsoka is also good because she gets to give out Sentinel to a bunch of units, which is pretty solid, forcing your opponent to trade into units you want them to trade into, and also keeping your base from taking damage since Restore isn't prevalent in this set at an affordable cost. Her downside is just that she's a force token reliant leader, but it's kind of awkward because you typically use her leader ability to give a unit Sentinel. Then, if that unit gets traded into and you have no other units on the field, well, you kind of don't do anything because you can't get the force again with an attack. She does flip on 6, and I think she's good. I think Force Token Sentinel is also good, but she's not mindless to play. Plus, there's a chance you just get a better heroism leader to play than her. Which actually leads us into the amazing pre-release leaders. Starting off with Mother Talzin. She's a Force Token dependent leader, but remember what I said that pre-releases are typically centered around unit-to-unit combat. And Talzin allows us to get extremely favorable trades or just finish off our opponents if they effectively trade into you. Her ability kind of works on both sides, whether you get attacked into or to set up an attack beforehand. And I've said this in another video that's yet to be released, but Mother Talzin is kind of like a 4/8 on her flip side. Since she gives -1 health, it's like +1 attack, and she kind of gets +1 health, because she can give -1 attack to the opponent. And a 4/8/5 flip is pretty dang strong. Cal Kestis, I don't really get the hate on Cal. I actually really like him in both Premiere and Pre-Release. But let's talk about Pre-Release. We're talking about unit-to-unit combat, right? Well, what's better than just exhausting a unit, denying your opponent a force token, or even just racing them? Exhausting your opponent's units means a lot of times they can't do anything to you and are just at your mercy, letting you efficiently trade into their units how you want to, while they just have to sit there and take it. Cal also being the only leader to flip on 4 means that your deck already has a built-in 4-cost 3/4 that no other deck in the pre-release has. If you put a lightsaber on him, he can kind of be like a 6/6 or something like that, and also exhaust an enemy on attack, even their own leader. So you can prevent a leader flip and then send 6 to base with Cal Kestis by holding him until they flip out their leader, then attacking. Next up is Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's a 5-flip leader that can synergize in basically every other color. He's got okay stats, but the real kicker here is that he's the opposite of Talzin, but does the same thing. By giving your units an experience token, you make them much more threatening. A 3/6 Gungi or a 3/5 Yaddle, all of those are pretty good. And Obi-Wan gets to play them on curve and give experience tokens out at the same time using the Force. So you can attack with your turn 1 play your turn 2 play, and then buff that unit. So now you have a mountain of a unit on the board, and it just keeps snowballing from there. The last leader is Third Sister. And this is another leader I'm super high on in both Premiere and Pre-Release. But let's focus on the Pre-Release. Third Sister hides your units from getting traded into, basically giving your deck built-in evasion, effectively denying the whole point of the unit-to-unit combat. You play your units, and opponents can't hit them. So they're going to have to hit your base, but next turn, you get to be the person in the driver's seat starting all the trades. Plus, she is the best leader in Legends of the Force that doesn't require the Force token to function. The others are situational or just plain bad. Yes, Third Sister does have poor stats for her flip, but she does come in with built-in hidden. And the only way to deal 4 damage to her on her flip turn is, I believe, lightsaber throw. So that makes her pretty resilient. So that's everything with the theory. Now I'm going to go into an example of sorting and deck building for a pre-release. The audio is a little bit worse on the demonstration. If it bothers you, I'm sorry. You can go ahead and mute the video, but I have a whole nother setup that I can actually go do like actual physical card stuff. I'm still working on getting the audio levels good over there. So I hope it doesn't ruin your enjoyment too much. So this is the pre-release example that I'm going to do. So I actually did not get a pre-release kit from FFG. So what I actually did is I bought a new booster box here from Legends of the Force, and I just opened it. I pulled 6 packs out of it, and then I also have the starter kits. But I'm not going to open these, but just they're here to remind you that Qui-Gon Jinn and Darth Maul are both leaders that you're going to have the opportunity to get in your pre-release. So remember them. I'm hoping I get a better leader than what I need from out of these. I'm going to set these aside because I'm going to use these for another video. And that leaves 6 packs. So I have 6 packs and the 2 starter kit leaders to start off with. So what we're going to do first is we are going to these over here. We're going to open these 6 packs and then sort them. So this is exactly how I open a pre-release. I grab my pre-release pack and always check for a showcase, which I've never gotten in a pre-release pack. And I set my leaders over here, and I set my bases over here. Now, bases, again, really don't matter because you get all common bases, and unless you get a rare base. But hyperspace base is cool, and if you're a new player, right, the tokens are on the back. Oh, and you get the Force token. So, gotta remember where my camera is. Force tokens are going to be on the back of bases now, which is going to be cool. So, Force base, we start off with a Snoke. Snoke is good. And I do heroism on the bottom, neutral in the middle, villainy on top. And I sort them by color. So it'll look something like this. Blue there, like red there. I try to do it in the way that I get my greens and blues mixed up, but I typically do it like this. And this helps me understand. Oh, we're at base. The foil is villain. So you can see after one pack, right now we've got a single green card and a green villain leader. We're in blue mostly. We've got 3 solid red cards, so if we start getting red, we could go either villain or hero. Yellow, we've got some yellow with 1 hero, 1 villain up the top. So we're opening the next pack here. I apologize if I didn't do that first one. I wasn't really thinking about it. So we got Kit Fisto, another decent leader, so we'll put him there. Base. All right. So neutral go there. Yellow villain, hero. And I actually don't even really look at my cards unless, like, I'll briefly look at them to see if I got like something really good. This is a good card to send. You know, if I get a big bomb, I'll recognize that. But otherwise, ooh, hyper foil starter card. These are actually worth a lot of money. This would actually be kind of cool to get in a so hero that goes there. So we're gonna open one more pack and then we're gonna stop to do like a little reconnaissance on what our pack looks like. So we have Mother Talzin. Mother Talzin most likely actually might be the leader I'm going with, but I will keep the leaders kind of spread out so we know what I'm going with. I'm trying not to get too much glare, but I am working with what I have. Base, yellow, villain, yellow, neutral, just red, green hero, blue, red hero, green, double green, which is pretty useless, blue, legendary, yellow, blue. So after half our pack openings, we still have 3 more to go. Right now, I'm most likely looking at Mother Talzin. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 just solid blue cards. And we would have, if we went red, we would have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We would have 14 playable cards plus the 2 just villain cards and the 2 just neutral cards. That's 18 cards without an aspect penalty if we went red. And I believe we should have something similar if we go yellow. So we're going to keep opening packs here, and we're going to see what we end up with. Currently, the only bomb I really see is Thralls of the Coven. We got another Snoke. Fallen Jedi is probably not terrible for us. Tusken Raider's actually okay. It's worse. It's okay. Green. Loth Wolf could be good if you get Kanan. Red. Green. Lightsaber Throw. This is a decent removal card. We're actually kind of hoping for Shatterpoint right now. Liberated by Darkness almost single-handedly makes me want to go yellow villain. Stealing your opponent's thing and then getting to attack with it can just finish games or just, put you way ahead. All right. Okay. So we'll just put him over top. Stop bumping the microphone. Sorry. Also, before oh no, there's like a print line. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but there is a print line on my kind of set. Hello, blue villain. Those are good. Blue hero, red, green. Or do nots are okay. Villain. Okay, we see it's starting to come together here. Uh, we have a nice spread, but I also want to talk about Snoke real quick, right? If let's just say we were going Snoke over Mother Talzin right now, I think I would actually be going green, yellow, but we have 1 pack left. In the villainy units we have 1, 2, or 5 villainy units, plus I guess 2. So we have 7 villainy units, and I think that's the most we could get. Now we could go blue, and yeah, we'd have the same amount. And that's why I'm a little bit hesitant on Snoke. You really need the specific right pool for Snoke to be really good. Since most of our units are going to be non-villain. All right. No showcase. Kanan, probably not. I think I'm convinced on Mother Talzin, unless I really want to go like green yellow, or I think green yellow, because you don't have any red villain leaders besides Darth Maul. But I don't think I want to run Darth Maul. Another hyperspace base, which is nice. Okay, so we have heroism ship, yellow, neutral, yellow villain, red villain. Removal there's good. Shatterpoint would probably send this pool over the top for me. Looking for a Shatterpoint. I don't think we're gonna. Got two legendaries. We got a Mythosaur, which we might throw in, but the chances we get to 9 resources are very. Okay, so everything is now set up. All the packs are open, and I believe I'm going Mother Talzin. I'm gonna look at the rare base that I pulled. Mystic Monastery, probably not gonna happen. Now we're gonna look to see what we're in Mother Talzin. Now I know I said look at the piles first, but I mean, looks like blue's our strongest color. Blue villain looks like our strongest color, and we have the best blue villain leader. Going blue villain. And so what that means for me is I'm actually going to scoop up my heroes. Also, we kind of got a little screwed. If you think about if we wanted to go hero, my piles here, we have Kit Fisto, we have Kanan, and we have Qui-Gon. All of those are kind of low tier pre-release leaders in my opinion. So I don't think we're going hero at all unless we need to go some off-color thing. I don't think we're going to do. I think we actually got kind of lucky in these pre-release pools. I'm scooping up all my heroism cards, and I would just set those aside. I'm going to move them off the table, put them in the deck box. I'm going to move my bases as well, so they're just not confusing. And I'm going to move the other leaders that I'm not using off. So now we're here. I'm going to move everything down so we can hopefully get all this glare out of it. And we are going to start looking through our unit's main color. I think this is what I want to do. So I'm going to set all of my other colors aside here. And I rearrange a lot when I'm doing a pre-release, which is kind of nice to do. Kind of gets you rethinking about everything. Rearranging is not bad. Okay. So I'm going to start off with my blue villains. So I actually do it. I like organize 2 or 3 times to build the decks in pre-release. So I'm taking Mother Talzin's Assassin. This pile here is going to be just middle of the road, like turn 3, turn 4, turn 5, just okay plays that I want to play, right? These are kind of deck fillers, but they're not bad cards. Right here, Pong Krell is a bomb, right? Pong Krell is actually pretty nuts. So I'm going to put him in the bomb category. Magistrate Scout is a decent 2/4 restore 2. I'm going to put him in the middle of the road. Supremacy TIE Fighter, I'm going to put him in the middle of the road. But I'm going to put him, I'll put him on the bottom so there's no glare. I'm going to move it up a little bit. I'm putting him here because there's one really key thing that I didn't touch on that you need to note. Do not completely forget about your space, because a lot of times you can have an opponent that got lucky and pulled like 6 spaceships. They go space, you have no way to answer it, and they just run you over. So make sure you have a few space units to counteract space. And then we've got Drain Essence, which is a removal card. So I'm going to stick that there. I'm going to stick that here. I'm going to stick removal here because I want these plays. So now we have another bomb, but I'm not exactly sure if I want to use Mythosaur, because Mythosaur is a 9-drop. It is a 9-drop 10/10 shielded, which is insane, and it can come down and probably win me a game, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to have another pile here, and then I'm going to have a turn 1 play pile. So let's just recap here. I've got a turn one play pile. I've got a removal pile. I've got a space pile. Just middle of the road, like deck filler, good deck card pile. Bombs, and then maybes. So Owen Lars, turn one play, middle of the road, turn one play, space, Torzu stance. Sorry, I know I'm trying to see and put all this stuff to the side. Play a force unit from your hand, gives a shield token to it. I'm gonna put that in the maybes. I'm gonna separate them. Turn one plays. Give a unit -2/-2 for this. Oh, force unit, give it -2. We'll put that in the removal. Picky. So, got our maybes here. Let's look at our turn one plays. We have 4 turn one plays, and 2 of them are restored too, which is actually kind of nice, and one of them's a really good shielded. But we're gonna need a bunch more turn one plays. I would honestly like 5 more turn one plays. If we have to, Drain Essence is gonna be good enough. We don't actually have a lot of items, but we might have to play Luthen. I'm gonna put him to the side. I guess if we're playing reanimated specters, probably play Luthen because it's just Luthen, but worse. Not the same stats. I didn't even know that. So, all right. So we have 4 cards here. That's fine. So we're actually pretty decent on our middle, like meat of the deck. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 meat of the decks. Probably 5 turn one plays. 2 of those are removal and 1 bomb. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through. We'll just go in top down order, and we're gonna see. We're looking for turn one plays and bombs mostly. So and maybe some removal. And I know we have Protect the Pod, which is a good removal card for us. So, directed by the Force is with you. Play a unit from your hand. We'll need that. Oh, one other thing. Let's look at the Force cards we have. We have 1 Force unit, and so we have 2 Force units. So we're also actually kind of hurting for the Force. And we have Pong Krell, but he's late in the game. So I don't like. I'm not sure I would play this card. I would play this card. I would play Outer Rim Mystic. This is a bomb. I would play that. I'm not probably not. So maybe. Okay, so the problem with green is you don't have a lot of force. Get 2 more force units. Get these, not force. So okay, we'll set those aside. So did something slightly out of order here. Let's go ahead and put our villainy cards in because we're probably going to use them. Middle of the road. That's actually a good buff. So we'll put that there. And put let's look if we have any good neutrals. You might have to play Gifted Urchin. It's worse, like possibly. I don't think I'm going to play Ravenous Gundark. That's where possibly. I'm going to put another possibly tile, but like these are possibly events, possibly units. I don't know. You can see how my brain works, and I may not follow everything I give in my pre-release guide, but at least you can kind of get an idea of what I'm going to. Let's move out a little bit to give you a little more room. All right, let's look at red real quick. Jedi in hiding, good. Quinlan Voss, good. Do or do not's actually good if we can get the force. Probably use that. Lightsaber throw. Don't have any lightsabers, but what we could do, I know that I have an out of aspect lightsaber somewhere, so we could run that and either equip it if we have to, but use it as like a removal spell. Which of the Coven's good? Coven's good. Time of Crisis is okay. Asajj good. Honestly, red seems kind of good for us. We get a lot of force units. So red, we're gonna get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 force units, and we actually have a significant amount of 1-cost cards, so we could go double 1-drop turn 1. Okay, so then we're in yellow. Let's see. Disturbance in the Force probably play because we get the Force and we get a buff to it. And since we're actually kind of hurting on Force, it would be good. Life Wind Stage, Disturbance of the Force. Possible Escape's okay. Tusken Raider's a maybe. Legacy Run is good. Count's not playing. Sorcerer of Tun we play. Force Speed I would play. Force Speed is one of the only cards that is upgrade removal. Kind of. Attack with a unit. For this attack, it gains on attack, return any number of non-unique upgrades attached to the defender to their owner's hand. Really good at getting rid of shields. I don't know how great it would be, but it's something. Force Slow would be like decent for trading, and Ascension Control. Saboteur, which could be decent. Alright. So we have another Force unit. Balin's pretty good. Liberated by Darkness is pretty good. Alright. So yellow seems okay. I'll just put the yellow cards together here. Yellow seems okay. Red seems okay. And I think I'm going to get green out of here. Moving green off. I don't think I'm going to use any of these cards unless absolutely. All right, so now let's move these cards down. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to kind of expand this a little bit more. Also trying not to get any glare, which is another problem. Okay, so we're going to go turn 1 plays all the way on the left, ground being middle, and space being down below. Okay. So we have currently 6 turn 1 plays, 2 things of removal, 2 middle of the road space units, and we have 5 middle of the road ground units. I'm going to put the maybe pile here. Put the maybe pile where I had it. And then we have, I'm probably going to lean to put Mythosaur in and kind of Vectory. And then I'm going to put this maybe pile there. Okay, so let's do a count of our cards. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 cards. And let's take a look at red and yellow again. Now, I'm trying to fan out the cards so you guys can see the whole deck, but in reality, I would probably shrink these up so I could stack another row ahead of them to see, like, oh, this is how many cards red gets me. This is how many cards yellow gets me. So we're going to just kind of do it a little bit screwy. So if we were in red, probably put bomb over here. I'm going to move once again. Not there. Better. Red, turn 1 play, turn 1 play. Go in the maybe pile. Actually probably 100% from this. And all right. So now with all of the maybes kind of like shoveled off to the side and the yellow shoveled off to the side. Sorry, I'm moving it from the board. Let's do a recount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9 turn 1 plays, which is excellent. And notice we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1-cost cards. So there's a chance we could go double 1-drop, which actually is kind of good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 turn 1 plays. Then we're going to go 12 when we include removal. And then middle of the road, we have 13, 14, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24. And 25, 26, 27, 28. We have 28 cards. We've got a decent amount of bombs, and we've got an okay amount of removal. So the question is, are any of these cards good enough to include? Or we want to run an out of aspect card like a couple sabers. So I'm going to put that there. And then I'm going to look through here and if there's anything that I'd want to run. So would like a 5/2/5 possible sentinel? No. 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 Drops? No. That looks good. Knight, focus attention, Knight Saber, Consular. Heirloom Lightsaber. Fortunately, lightsaber throw probably also not going to be able to be included because it looks like we only have one. That's kind of all right. So we don't have really that many great out of aspect cards. What would I want to? I would probably a kitty cat coming. Probably here. It's let's do a recount. 9, 17, 18, 19, 20, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. If I was in red, this would be my 30 cards. I get. So if I decide to go red, you can go ahead and pause the video if you want. I think I have everything kind of laid out. Okay. I do have lightsaber throw, but it would probably just be an auto resource. Maybe I'll do last word. Oh, because I don't have lightsaber. Okay. So these would be the 30 that I would run. And you can see my cat's shadow. She's about to hit the camera. Go away, kitty. No, go. Go away. Go away, sweetheart. Hey. Okay. So now I'm going to take the red cards out. And the other cards that were maybe that came in. Okay. So this is the stack if I was in red. I'm going to put that there. Now, if we are in yellow, what are we going to look like? Yellow's there. Right? I'm going to, again, classic Mo. Liberated by Darkness is so freaking. Balin is also a big bomb. Also, I don't even know where I would put Legacy. It's kind of great in everything. Put that there. Middle of the road, but that's pretty good. Upgrade removal is pretty dang good. For like force generators. Tension cable, force slow, possible. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 turn 1 plays. Got 2 bombs, which is the same amount. What? Maybe I would run Liberated by Darkness. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put Liberated by Darkness, and I'm going to get rid of It's Worse from the original. So I'm going to put that out there again. And I don't think I like yellow. So I'm taking yellow off the board. It's just too many upgrades, too many events, not enough units. Yellow's coming off. Later, buddy. All right, so let's get this back out and into a nice state. We're dealing back out the red base. Ravenous Rathtar, Thralls of the Coven, those are all bombs. Middle of the road cards. nicer. Liberated by Darkness goes to removal. Those are buffs. And these are turn 1 plays. Run. Legacy run. Stop getting in the video. Okay. This would probably be the 30 cards that run. Have some synergy in the deck. We've got Asajj, Quinlan, got a bunch of force units. We've got Talzin's Assassin, which is nice. We've got enough space units. We've got 4, which isn't 0. If we get to Pong Krell could be nice, especially if we can consume by darkness Pong Krell. So you go Pong Krell, consumed by darkness, and then maybe even liberated by darkness as like a game finisher. So this deck actually seems like it could work a little bit, especially because we got Mother Talzin somewhere that she's gonna flip out somewhere and do something good. So let's see if I even have a red base. I do. Kind of set it home here. And the last thing I want to do, so we have 9 turn 1 plays, 4 things of removal, 5 things of 5 events, which is kind of what I said, right? So we have 25 units, 5 events, 4 of those events, or 4 of the units are in space. And how many force units do we have? Because we're running a force leader. So 3 force units there, 4 force turn 1 plays, so a little under half. 3 there. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Third of our deck is 4, so it actually might be kind of difficult to get Mother Talzin's effect, but I think that's about all we can. I'm going to put this back to what it was. Kind of separated the forces, everything. But there you have it. This would be the 30 cards that I would run with these 6 packs and these leaders. So that's everything I have. As always, have a wonderful day and see you.